All right, guys. Well, welcome to the Blowout pop-up shop today. My name is Dawn McKee, and I'm the Surface Hair Artistic Ambassador, as well as the Salon Growth Manager for Illinois and Wisconsin, just in case you aren't sure who I am sitting in front of you. And today we're talking all about blowouts. So I'm going to take you through the product itself. We'll talk about how to layer it properly and where to best use it and the benefits of using blowout. And then I'll show you some tips and tricks that you can use while using blowout to really make your styles last longer for your guests. Some fun ideas on creating new fun blowouts for your guests, keeping it new and interesting at all times. And here we go. So what we're going to learn today is how blowout is absolutely beautiful because it maintains moisture, gives us incredible sheen and lots of texture. It's easy to use. It gives us a faster blow dry time. It's easy system to use. You can use it every single day, and then days following 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to get a faster dry time, texture and volume, faster and longer lasting blowouts. So if you have usually get 2 days, you might get 4 days. If you are even struggling with keeping your hair in place for just 1 day, it will definitely help to maximize the benefits of your blowout. It's healthy because we have natural organic ingredients completely free of any plastics or nylons. So what is blowout? It's a cannabis sativa seed oil, maracuja oil, and lychee fruit that combines with babassu oil for the perfect blowout system. Heat seals in moisture, giving the hair volume and shine, all while reducing blow dry time and creating a longer lasting blowout. All products provide UV protection and heat protection up to 450 degrees. Being completely cruelty-free, we are a sponsor of PETA, as well as providing organic ingredients, being completely paraben-free, gluten-free, sulfate-free, vegan, and working with a sustainable development as well. All of our ingredients are derived through slow fermentation, which I believe we are the only ones that I know of that use that sort of process along with cold pressing, and just absolutely clean ingredients to work with. So what is blowout exactly? It's a system for beautiful, faster, longer lasting blowout. It heat seals in moisture, gives hair volume and shine, all while reducing your blow dry time and creating a longer lasting blowout. All of the products provide that UV and heat protection up to 450 degrees, and it works with cannabis sativa seed oil, maracuja oil, and lychee fruit, which are combined with babassu oil for the perfect blowout system. We first have our shampoo and conditioner, which prepare the hair for heat styling, nourishing the hair with moisture, and a luxurious lather. We simply do 2 lathers, we rinse, and we apply our conditioner, leave it 60 seconds, and then rinse. Our primer is applied when the hair is wet, giving us a lightweight memory spray as it's misted into damp hair, and then we can use it again as the hair is about 75% dry to be able to really set the style memory in. Texture spray, giving that hair maximum texture and volume. You can flip your hair upside down to use it, or spray into the root area wherever it's needed for an explosion of volume and texture. The dry oil spray or your dry conditioner, mist it into your finished blowout every single day for mega shine and condition. Dry oil spray nourishes, protects, refreshes hair, extending your blowout. So who's it for? For stylists and guests who want a long-lasting blowout that nourishes hair in between washes. Soothing natural aroma that keeps the hair smelling fresh all throughout the life of your blowout. The problem it solves is most blowout products use plastics or nylons to create volume, but they collapse within a couple of days, and they use harsh aromas to cover up scent as well, and for a long-lasting fragrance in between. The Surface Blowout System products are free of plastic and nylons, and they use nourishing botanicals for fast drying, shine, and long-lasting volume. The natural aroma of maracuja and lychee is soothing and refreshing. So a little bit about even my hair. My hair is very baby fine, and maybe 10 years ago, I would have never considered, do I really need a blowout system for this hair? Because I wouldn't have understood it, for one. But number two, being that my hair is fine, one of the things I struggle with on a daily as the days go on is that my hair seems to get skinnier. And the reason it does that is because it's depleting the moisture over the days that we're wearing the hair over those few days. And so one of the things that the cannabis sativa seed oil does is it really helps to maintain the moisture that's on the inside of the hair, which is where we need it most. And that is what is the key to maintaining the curl or the wave or that blowout pattern that we've set into the hair. So let's look at the ingredients. Cannabis sativa seed oil is rich in omega-6, fatty acids that are for a long-lasting moisture that withstands high temperatures and long-term free radical exposure. Maracuja oil, or the passion flower, they call it the miracle of the Amazon. And this is a unique light texture which creates incredible sheen and control for all hair types. A superior emollient, loaded with nutrient-rich fatty acids and vitamin C. Lychee fruit, which is a potent antioxidant and rejuvenator, a phytonutrient or flavonoid, protects hair from oxidative stress caused by heat and UV. This powerful sugar creates tremendous volume and tons of bounce for all hair types. The cannabis sativa seed oil, maracuja oil, and lychee fruit are what is combined with the babassu oil for the perfect blowout system. So let's look a little bit deeper here and how the omegas really support and maintain that style shape within the hair. So the omega-3s are going to be most prevalent in your babassu oil and flaxseed oil, as you can see. And in the cannabis sativa seed oil, they carry about 22% of that omega-3. This is what moisturizes the cuticle on the outside. Omega-6s are going to go deeper and more concentrated and are most prevalent here in the omega-6s from the cannabis sativa seed oil. So with that, this is what's needed for that moisture to be maintained on the inside. Whenever the hair is dry and we continue to touch it, and you can ask any curly-headed girl or guy that the more they touch their hair gets frizzy and drier. And the reason is because our hands are like big sponges. So as we touch the hair, we're depleting all the moisture from the inside of the hair, which is what causes curl to drop, which causes frizz, etc., etc., etc. So we really need that omega-6 that is deep in that cortex level to be able to maintain style. And that's where blowout is so important and why it works the way it does. When we take a look at omega-9s is what they call an occlusive seal. So it creates a seal on that hair to really lock it in. Now, this is most prevalent here in babassu oil and flaxseed oil. And so together, those combined create the perfect blowout moisture. So the system itself, we have our shampoo and conditioner, which are going to be that preparation for and nourishment for the hair in between on wash day, and begin that style memory with our primer, memory foam, texture spray, finishing spray, and dry oil conditioning spray. Now you notice there are 2 new pieces in there that we'll talk about. They'll be released in March, so get excited for that, and more to come in the future. So let's talk a little bit about blowout shampoo and conditioner. This is what really prepares the hair for heat styling, begins the process of style memory, and this one, it's a great value and saving lots of time and money for our guests. And the cool thing is people are going to shampoo less often, so they won't need as much. And I have to tell you, if you've never used it before, which I'm pretty sure the majority of you on this have used it already, but if you haven't, The lather on here is insane, and one of the things I love is literally a pea size is just enough for my amount of hair, and I get so much lather even on that first lather. So the lather is just incredible, and your guests are going to love it because they aren't going to use it as often or need it as often, but it's preparing that hair for styling. So the blowout shampoo and conditioner prepares hair for heat styling and a long-lasting blowout with luxurious lather and deep conditioning. The cannabis sativa oil is carried deep into the hair by the babassu oil, delivering long-lasting botanical moisture of omegas 3, 6, and 9 to nourish and protect during heat styling. Memory-enhancing lychee berry and maracuja oil are delivered into the hair while you cleanse and condition. So again, we'll use 2 lathers of our shampoo. We always recommend 2 because the first one is really more cleansing the debris away. The second lather is really cleansing the scalp. We then condition, letting that sit in the hair for at least 60 seconds and then rinse. Before we begin styling, the next step would be to work with our primer. And this is really going to be what starts to set in our style memory and create that heat protection. So we see it used prior to our blow dry, and then in about 75% of the way, we're going to mist each section again, then taking our brush through. This will help give you the slip that's needed as well to be able to really prepare and to create that memory. So coming soon, we have our new blowout memory foam, and the memory foam is there to create volume, control, and shine. And this stuff, if you like slip in the hair, feels absolutely amazing. It's a very lightweight foam. It has beautiful control and beautiful hold for long-term memory, and I get so much nice bounce and shape out of it as well. Your texture spray is going to be perfect for creating style memory and volume. And one of the things that's really neat about the texture spray is if you get up in the morning and you have really a lot of bedhead, this is going to be perfect for helping to really push that away from the scalp area and get rid of that bedhead. So you can use that to be able to explode and give that volume. Your next one is going to be your finishing spray. This also will launch in March, and the finishing spray is perfect both for thermal setting and styling. You'll see when I get into our demo that I used it actually to help set the hair as I work through my blowout. And it creates beautiful memory. The hold is very, very light. There's no crunch to it whatsoever, but what it does is enhances that memory of the hair. Now your dry oil spray, this happens to be one of my very favorites. Now, being a fine-haired person, most people would think, oh my gosh, you would never put moisture in that hair because it would just collapse it. And I'm here to tell you that is completely not true when you're working with Surface for many reasons. Number one, because we don't use any plastics or heavy mineral oils or things within our products, there's never anything that's going to weigh my hair down. And because my hair is very fine, it actually loses its moisture even faster, I find, at least for myself. So I find that by using the dry oil spray every day, because it's helping to maintain that moisture inside the cortex, it actually keeps my hair feeling more plump and full. So I actually use the dry oil spray every night before I go to bed in between my blowouts, and then every morning to refresh. And I'll show you a couple little things in just a quick second too. So the blowout system is beautiful, healthy, long-lasting blowout, long-lasting style memory, creating great value for your guests as they're going to be shampooing less often, preparing hair for heat styling, long-lasting thermal protection, and cannabis sativa seed oil that delivers long-lasting botanical moisture, keeping it completely free of any plastics or nylons and no synthetic fragrance whatsoever. The UV protection and completely color safe as well. Let's talk a little bit about how we're going to layer our blowout. We can use it to blow dry, use it for a wet set, use it to curl the hair, use it for updos, use it for refreshing or rebooting that style. So I like to think of it more as a if you had a computer or your phone and you have all these apps on it and you need to refresh it because maybe it's glitching a little bit, that bedhead in the morning, or it's not quite, you know, sitting the way it was when you did it this morning. When we use the dry oil spray and the texture spray, we help to reboot it so it plumps back up. And I'll show you a couple of my little tricks too with the dry oil spray. So first things first, we would use our shampoo and our conditioner as well. And once we've used the shampoo and conditioner, the next step we want to do is we want to sandwich our primer in between our leave-in conditioner and our stylers. So we'll choose our leave-in conditioner. Maybe it's protein cream or awaken mist. I chose my Basu moisture mist here for additional moisture. But then we'll use our primer. So then the primer gets misted into the hair wet. We then choose our favorite styling products. Here I chose Jump and Reflect. And then from there, I like to finish that with my dry oil spray first, because then I'm really helping to plump up and keep that moisture in there for the memory. And then I'll come in and place my texture spray. You can do it either way, but that's the way I like to do it. So then I'll use my texture spray to give me the additional volume. And then when I'm all set, I'll either thermal set with my theory I can use here, as you saw, or I'll start choosing my new blowout products just as I have here. So shampoo and conditioner. Step 2, your favorite leave-in conditioner from Surface, your primer. Then you would use your memory foam, use your primer 75% of the way during round brushing, and your dry oil spray and your texture spray. And then last but not least, finish with your finishing spray and use it for thermal setting. And don't forget about your Trinity Dry shampoo. We always get the question of, okay, if I have dry oil spray, do I need Trinity Dry shampoo? Yes, absolutely. One of them is going to be to help cleanse and condition the scalp. Your dry oil conditioner is going to be perfect for refreshing and rebooting the hair. So they work really, really well together. And don't forget too that your Trinity Dry shampoo is actually a preventative rather than a reactive. And what I mean by that is start using it from day one. When you blow out the hair, right away mist the scalp with the Trinity Dry shampoo. And this is going to help prevent oils from collecting on the hair rather than all those oils that collect and then trying to remove them with it. So use this from day one and use this from day one. So dry shampoo for the scalp, dry conditioner for the hair. The perfect match. All right, guys, so this is what we're going to take you through is a little bit of our signature hourglass blowout, taking you through working on base versus off base. I'm also going to show you a little bit of just a quick yo-yo technique and some proper over direction. And I'm always going to encourage you, please, 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 if you're doing a blowout for your guests, little things don't mean a lot, they mean absolutely everything. And if you weren't aware, it takes about 20 minutes for the hair to completely cool and set. So as we clip the hair as we go throughout our blowout, it gives that a good timing to really lock that style in place. So if you're expecting a blowout to last for a week and keep that bounce and style, because so many times we blow that hair out and we get this beautiful little waves and so on, and we really want to maintain them, but then within 5 minutes they drop out. And clipping and letting that hair really cool and lock in place is going to be a #1 key. So as you can see, the very front picture on the left, when we're working with our brush, we're going to be working in opposite directions. And what that's going to do is to create different movement so that there's more of that hourglass sort of figure 8 shape, so that the hair isn't just down or to the back or to the front. And it's absolutely beautiful, creating more of a natural finish. What I've done here is I've actually prepared this head of hair. In fact, she's probably been prepared about 3 weeks ago. So I continue to use her over and over. And the whole entire head I used our Reflect gel to style her with. And I used Impulse to set the curl with, because at the time I wasn't using complete blowout. But on my left side, I just have Reflect gel in here and just the Impulse to set the curl with. On the right side, I have the complete blowout system. So we used the blowout shampoo and conditioner, the texture spray, the dry oil spray, the primer. It has all been used in here along with the same Reflect gel and Jump. The reason what I would like to show you is after wearing over time how this performs. And two of the things you can see right off the bat is that the left side is a little bit lower than this right side has more volume. That you can see immediately. You can also see how much plumper this side is from the dry oil spray maintaining each time. So what I like to do is to be able to show you that as I continue to wear through this one, it's harder to see on here, but there is some frizz that's starting to happen. The curl still is nice because of the fact that Reflect is a great hair gel. But as I keep touching it, it's just going to keep getting droopier, and it is going to keep getting frizzier as I keep stealing all that moisture away. But on the right side, no matter how much I work through this, if I use my dry oil spray here first for that prep work, and then consider this would be at night maybe, and see how much shine is in there already in comparison. You can see it reflecting off of there. And when I start to take my hands and just even pull up a little bit, so I'm just pulling from both ends, you can see how much that curl pops back in. And so I just keep getting that bounce over and over again. So I'll use my dry oil spray again, and it just keeps getting better and better. So even as I start to really work in this wave, you can see it just keeps bouncing right back up. And my left side won't get quite that. If I keep playing with it and playing with it, it'll just get more frizzy. So I love that, and I love the fact that now I can come in and I can really start to just push this wave in. We've had so much fun being able to play with just with expansion. So a lot of times I see people using the texture spray for expansion, which is awesome because if the hair is super slippery, it's fantastic. But for me, I actually like to use my dry oil spray because it really helps to kind of push and plump that curl back up into the hair. So let's take a look at our next little lovely model here. So when I go through the blowout that I am working with, one of the things I want you to notice is the difference in what the difference between an on base versus an off base finish would be. So here you can see I used just a flat brush and how much longer that hair hangs versus on this other side. And you can see how much fuller this side is. So with that, on here we used completely off base and we used a flat brush. On the left side here, we used a round brush. We worked on base as well. And why I like to point that out is so many times when I teach finishing classes, one of the things we talk about is on base versus off base, etc. We learn it in beauty school, and I don't know about you, but I forgot about it for a long time. And I would have guests sit down in my chair, and I would ask them where would they like their hair to be, and they might say to here. And then I go in and I start blow drying it, and my autopilot just goes everything volume. So I go on base and over direct, and I'm all the way up here, and I had that nice angle set in, and you know, there's not enough weight to carry it, but so now everything is up here. And my guest is freaking out and going, oh my gosh, that's so short. And I'm like, oh, it's really not short. It's just because I blow dried it with lots of volume, and now it's pumped up. So what I love to be able to think about is really putting thought behind the blowout. where am I placing my brush? Where is it going to lay? My hair, as you can see, is really fine. So there's not enough weight to even carry this angle. If I do on base right in front of my ear and I do on base here, it'll end up being more level. And that's just because we're lifting it. So I like to be able to shift the base a little bit so that it's off base and then on base, so that I get more of that dramatic look where it's fuller in the back and it comes down in the front. So with that, I have my lovely here that I blew out for you. And I'll show you the technique I used, and then I'll also show you the set. So we're working with horizontal lines, just like you saw in the picture with the arrows on my PowerPoint. And one set is working all to this side, and then the next row works to the opposite side. Then they come back in and work all the way to the right. And then the filler pieces in the corners, which are going to live right below the ridge line, will go opposite of wherever they are on the head. So what that's doing for me, rather than having everything go forward or everything go back, it's moving everything in different directions. So it kind of creates this hourglass. The fringe, what we did is, as you can see here, her part side is actually left. Hard to see on the screen, it looks right to you. But what I did is I used the top of the part for my parting to make my pie shapes. And I did this because if I want the hair to kind of sweep to the back, I will part from the top corner and I'll make pie shapes so that when I work with it, it folds over or it sweeps in front of the face. If I wanted to go the opposite way, I wanted to really push back, I'll start and I'll part from the front side of the part line and I'll make my pie shapes wider at the top. So now I'm going to push volume to the back. So that's how we went ahead and created the front for you. The whole thing is worked on base. So as I take this down, and as you can see, I clipped everything out of the way. But one of the things I'm working with is with my blow dryer. I always want to make sure I'm hovering right over, so I don't want to plant my dryer right on top of that brush. So just hover right over the top. If you're one that is not real crazy about working with a round brush, because I know sometimes I get in classes they're like, I hate round brushing, it always gets stuck. If that ever happens to you, all you have to do is, as it starts to get stuck, just pick the hair back up and start again. It just means that it's not dry enough quite to be wrapping it around the brush. So you want it to get to that point where you can really work all the way around, and then that yo-yo technique is just a method of how we're rolling and moving the brush. Now I do that so that I'm never setting the heat in any one spot, because I don't want to create any hot spots, which would then potentially make the hair burn in one spot. So that's going to be key there. And then to cool it, let it set for a minute to really cool, but as you start to pull that out, make sure that you clip it up. Now, if you're in a hurry and you're not having time to really clip things up, sometimes what I'll do is what I call clip as I go. And so I'll take a bigger clip and I might take the bottom row and then I'll have them all clipped together in one piece. And then I do the same thing on the next row and then the opposite row, so that they at least have a better chance to cool down. So we'll work through this bottom row, again, working all in one direction. And then we'll come back in, and then my second row, as I start to work, is going to go the opposite. So I'll come in, and what I like to do is take these partings on a diagonal. So I'll go ahead now, and now I'm working the opposite direction. So my blow dryer is moving this hair in the opposite direction. And we'll continue to do that throughout. So the next row then goes opposite. And as I start to take all of these down, we'll get to our over direction here. Now the front side, people always ask me, okay, when you do that, you've got one piece going to the back and one piece going forward. Yes, you do. So the key is then where these filler pieces are, and by filler, I mean you're going to have a little triangle probably right under the ridge line that's going to be left out. So if my right side is moving forward, as this is, I'm going to make sure that that filler piece goes to the back. That way I've got that same hourglass movement. And typically when I'm working with this, on that shape, what I like about it is that it just gives, I always make sure that the one, like if I'm going all the way around to one side, I always make sure that it's the softer side that is working to the back. Usually if you're like me, this is the side I'm the tucker. So that's usually the side I work with. So with our over direction here, again, we're working on base. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take my blow dryer and I want to work to the back. Now see how she's getting stuck? That just means there's tangles in there, or if she wasn't quite dry all the way. And once I get to the top here, I'll roll it down and I'll start to work on the opposite, on that outside, but then I also want to come back in and I want to work with my nozzle here on the underneath. Now, if that hair isn't rolled around the brush, it's going to blow all over the place. So I want to make sure that the hair is well rounded around the brush. Then we let it cool, and we then can go ahead and release it. So one of the things I learned when I was probably long ago is drying that hair 80% before I even take the brush to. I think we learned that in beauty school, and again, it's one of those little things that we forget. And so when I was in one of our first training sessions, and Wayne shared that with me again, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I had forgotten all about it, but in a teaching manner. But I also remembered I had taken about 10 years off of work to have kids. And when I returned to work, everything I remembered, you know, you come back and it's like riding a bike, right? So things come back to you easily. However, I went into an interview and I had a friend of mine come in to cut her hair, and I went to go blow dry, and she has a ton of hair and it was taking forever to blow dry. I thought I was going to be there for 2 hours blow drying her hair, and I thought, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into picking her? And what I realized is I forgot to dry it 80% of the way first. And what a difference that really, really makes when you blow dry that hair 80% dry first. The hair has no memory whatsoever before that part. So you're just stretching wet hair. And ideally, those hydrogen bonds are separated at that point. So potentially, we could be damaging the hair by overstretching it. So by drying it 80% of the way first, you can actually get your curl to set in faster. You can get the blowout to last longer. It's such a wild difference. And the best part is that when you do that, even when you're drying hair that's curly and you want to smooth it out, even then you'll see the hair will smooth out easier for you if you take it. And I just work my fingers through it, kind of gently tug while I'm blow drying that initial, and then I'll take my brush to it. So as you can see in the front here, we have those pie shapes that we created. And so what that's doing for me is giving me a nice sweep right into that front fringe. And so I'll pull these out, and we're going to go ahead and give her a nice brushing and a quick blowout. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dryer oil spray, because again, this is really going to help set in that memory. And then I'll go back in and I'll go ahead and start brushing that hair and shaping it. And you can start seeing, as I take it through, you're going to start seeing that nice hourglass movement that happens, as some of it's going to start coming in this opposite direction. You see that? Now that's, I exaggerated it for you a little bit so that you could see how that really lays. But once we go ahead and give her her texture spray, we're going to go ahead and give her upside down, if you want to do that for your guests and have them really get in there. If I can find her part again. You can see how she has that really nice sweep across. You can see she's got lots of nice full movement. And the hair moves in 2 different directions. So it's not all just going one direction. So we can start to really give her just a fun finish. You guys like? Yeah. All right, so I have one more thing to show you. Let's take this into a bit of an updo and using blowout as well. These guys have such deep foreheads. They're like, they always want to sweep so nicely in the face. So with this, I used my blowout finishing spray to set this, and I just used an iron rod when I did this. So this was just a flat wrap around. So what I mean by a flat wrap is when I take that section of hair, that I'm not twisting it in any way. You could, if you want to give it more of like a spiral corkscrew, then you would twist it so your palm is down, and as you come to the back, you're twisting it as you're wrapping. Traditionally, I work with both, depending on how much wave I want to see. If I really want to see this shape, I'll use a flat wrap. If I want it to go more corkscrewed, I'll use a twist wrap. And if I want to see a little bit of both, flat wrap and then twist wrap the ends, that works too. So let's get started here. The first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to prepare this hair for styling. Now she has actually been up already more than once, so you can see how nicely that wave lasts. All I did was pull it down and then reconfigure it with my hands. And I'm going to also make sure that I prepare my hands. So I'm using the shine wax here. And what I love about the shine wax is it does have a very light texture to it. And it has the aloe fibers and the babasu oil to help maintain shine. But again, my hands are the biggest culprit for stealing away any of the moisture that happens in this hair. So by working with the dry oil spray on the hair directly and then working with my shine spray as I'm manipulating through it, I'm going to have a much better finish at the end. So what we're going to do is just a quick, simple, we're going to put it into a nape sectioning. So I'm going to take my 2 fingers and just work from the top of the ear and create a little bit of an arc. And then we'll clip that front out of the way. Now I like to go maybe halfway on the head. And I'm not too concerned at this point with a straight line. I just want to get the hair out of the way. So we're going to go ahead, and you can see I've just got that arc that comes to the back. Now I want to bring this more to the side. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to work with just some twists. So whenever I do something like this, my first plan is to have a roadmap, of course, to be able to work with. So I have to have some kind of idea in mind of what I want to create. When I start to work with my actual updo, I can then go ahead and I can section these off to wherever I need to. So I want the hair to sit onto this left side, which is the shallower side. So the reason why I'm choosing this side, and here's a little bit of a key into an updo trick, or a consultation technique, if you will. But if I was to ask my guests, when you walk into a room, do you want to be more soft and subtle? Do you want to turn ahead? Let's say they say, I want to be more soft and subtle, which to me creates balance, as well as it means something that is a little bit more subdued. So if they want to have something that's more outgoing, I may unbalance my look and so on. So if my heavy side is here and I want to create some balance to it, I would draw this hair to this side and keep that kind of sweep over here, because it's going to create a nice balance instead of all being on one side. And that what that even tells me too is, if you have, let's say, you're going into dance season and the girl has a dress that has one shoulder, and you have asked them that question and you say, do you like to walk into a room? Do you like to be more soft and subtle? You like to turn ahead? They like to be more soft and subtle. They have a bare shoulder. So I might draw that hair to the bare side. That way it creates a little bit more confidence. It's still up, but it creates that softness. If they're really more bold and outgoing, I can easily then draw it to the same as the shoulder side, because it really exposes the open side. So I can use those tactics to be able to create the perfect balance and look. So today we're going to go with something a little bit more, I guess, balanced and soft and subtle, so for more elegance. But once I have the initial sectioning, I can go ahead then and work through my sections. So I'm going to start using diagonals, and we're going to go ahead and just give a nice light twist. I'm going to use my texture spray right at the base, because that's where I might put any backcombing. And so we're going to go ahead and just work just a little bit on top and bottom, just to give it a little bit of support. And then what I want to do is use my dry oil spray on the remainder of the hair, because this is where I'm going to go ahead and plump that hair out. So we're going to go ahead and just create a little bit of a twist, and I like to kind of pick the twist up as I go. And as I do that, we're going to go ahead and start pulling the edges as we go. So the more you can twist it, the more you can tug on those little pieces. We'll use the finishing spray here to be able to work through that. Now on the ends, I'm just going to go ahead and take those ends, and I want to find and pinch the very bottom and just kind of give it a little push. So you're going to see, just like you might do a braid push-up, you're going to do the same thing, so that we can then tuck that hair in easily. So we're going to go ahead and take our pin. We're going to find and wiggle kind of that pin through. And the way I like to do pinning is by taking that long side of the foot that's in the back, and then you have your grippy side. The grip side should end up facing the scalp, because that's what's going to give you the control at the root area. You can also then take the back side, catch the front of your work, and then flip it back so that the grip side faces the scalp. That will help give you that grip that you need. Now, if the hair is super, super fine or soft and it's slippery, you can go ahead and just mist a little bit of your spray onto it. And with that, we're just going to go ahead and take that in. We're going to kind of wiggle it at the scalp, because I'm getting different directions, and then I'm going to push up. So you never want to just push a pin straight up or straight down. You want to either kind of, as I'm catching the hair in different directions, it's going to force it to catch a little bit more. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to take another diagonal section. We're going to go ahead and mist our texture spray right at the base. We're going to go ahead and just back comb ever so slightly. And oops, we're going to go ahead and work with our dry oil spray here. And then we're going to just start to twist. So I'll just start to pick up little pieces and kind of incorporate them. So I'm not really doing like a rope twist, but we're going to do just enough so that we can start kind of pushing those up into the hair. And the same thing, you're going to get to the bottom, and once you're done, you're going to go ahead and take and pinch and just kind of push that up, and you're going to start to move that into the hair. So we're going to find our pin, wiggle it a little bit, and then to bring these two together as we start to twist, we're going to go ahead and just find the center of it. Same thing, you're going to kind of wiggle, and you probably can't see what I'm doing, but I'm wiggling it and I'm actually bringing it to the next twist so that I can get that nice ruffle in the front. And then for our last one, we're going to do the same thing. So we'll take our texture spray, we'll work directly at the bottom. We're going to go ahead and give it a little bit of a back comb. We're going to not do the back side or that front side because that's what's going to show. We're going to work with our dry oil spray. And we're going to start to twist. So we're just picking up little pieces as we go. Again, we're just going to work to pull those edges out, keeping it to the side here, using your finishing spray anywhere you need support. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to push up, and we're going to bring it right to that same spot. So I'm creating kind of a little bun area here, and then for my left side, I'll pick this up, I'll find the center, I'll find the next one, and I'm going to kind of wiggle them over. So right now we've got just that little twist that's kind of happening, pushing it over into the side. Got one little spot I'm going to fix up. And so we start to create that shape into the left-hand side. So from here, we want to work within our bump area. So we're going to take and we're going to find the high point of the head. I always like to find the high point of the head and then that hair that is living just right behind the ear. So we'll take all of that hair that is in the front right out of the way. We'll clip those out and we'll come back to the back side. So as we come to the back here, we're going to work with our texture spray right at the base, right under the ridge line. This is where I want to create my height. So we'll go in with just a light combing. I actually like to use my fingers a lot for back combing too, so I don't always have that heavy back combing, and I'll show you that too in just a second here. So we would go ahead and find the ridge line, which is going to be where my comb kind of dips in or where it would leave the head. That's where I'm going to create that back combing. So just a little bit here, and watch your angles too. So if you're trying to create something that is, if I'm working straight up right at the ridge line, I may have too much of a lift, especially if that head is really flat like mine. So we'll draw that back. Now in the top section here, if I like it to be a little bit more wavy, I'll take my fingers and I'll just lightly drop that layer over so that it sits a little bit looser. So what we're going to do is we're going to create just a bump using a quick braiding technique. And so we're going to go ahead and find right at the ridge line. I'm a little too close now. And we're going to go ahead and start just a quick fishtail. But I'm going to do more of a loose fishtail, so I don't want something that's going to be super tight. I just want to start creating kind of that indent that's going to help push that up. So we'll take a little bit from the outside. We're going to go ahead and cross it over the middle into the left, and it lives on the inside of the left section. Same thing on the opposite side. Take your right, pick it up. Now, I'm only taking pretty big pieces here, so I'm not taking anything that is really tight and tiny. And we're just going to go ahead and work it through, crossing it over, crossing it over. So that's going to start helping me to push that bump into the hair. And the braid is going to be more secure than anything. So we're going to go ahead and take that third section, we pass it over onto the left in the middle, and I have that little bit left here on my left, passing it over into the middle. And so now you can see I'm getting that nice bump naturally. I'm also pushing it over to this left side where I'm drawing everything else to. So now I'm not real concerned about whether or not this becomes a braid, but what I do want is it to look more like the twisting that I've already got. So we're going to twist these to the right, and then we'll just cross them over the top. And now I can go ahead and do that same little push, just building into that side as well. Now my dry oil spray is the one I'm going to be choosing as I start to push that hair around. We're going to go ahead and pin this guy a little bit better. So you can start to see now she's getting a nice lift, nice bump. Everything is starting to push over and blend into that side. So on our left side, this is going to be the last piece that I work because I want that one to be kind of a detail piece. So we're going to go and work on our heavier side. And I'm going to do just a simple rope twist. But what I want you to see when I do this is how I'll start utilizing it to create more of a fringe line. So I'm really going to depend on my dry oil spray. If you need back combing anywhere at the base or you need a little bit more texture, go for it. But we're going to start here and we're going to start working around the head. So you want to take your partings to suit the same way. You want them to follow around. We're going to twist to the right, cross right over left. You're going to take your next section down, and again, I'm taking bigger sections. I split in half, and then I drop the two over the top. So I'll twist, cross, split, drop, twist, cross. And then we're going to do one more. And I always love, if I want those little pieces to hang down, I always think about the ridge line, temple, and the little corner here. We're just going to pull a little piece down at the corner. And then we're going to go ahead and just finish our twist. Now this will set in really nicely, but what I really want to show you is how I can take this braid and really start to bubble it out or open it up. So I'll start here. And then we're going to finish it as we finish the look. So we'll go ahead and pin that in, and we're going to come back to it. Okay, and on the opposite side, we're just going to do a quick twist just to kind of fill in this little spot. Again, I'll go ahead and I'll work that little piece down as I want to, just as I'm coming through. On this side, easier. So again, you can just twist it back, pull the edges up, pinch, and kind of push and tuck that in. I love this technique out of a ponytail, anywhere where you just want to create those fun little twists. But by doing that little push-up, that really gives us a nice fullness. So I've got that nice fullness that's coming in, all the twists. And then to finish this right side, I really want to come in here and create some nice detail. This is where the fringe is going to live. So as I use my dry oil spray here, I'm going to really start to pull up these edges and really start to pull them apart, because this will be my fringe as well. So you can see as I start to do that, how that's going to give it a nice curl or wave. And you could use this little rope twister technique anywhere you want to create that nice fullness. And then I'll usually find wherever the center of these little undulations cross, and that's where I'm going to place my pin. So I'm just wiggling and placing that in. So you'll have your little bit of a heavier side here, and then you'll have your softer side. So everything is kind of shifting over into the side. So with that, we'll finish it up using our dry oil spray, our finishing spray as well. And if you like a little bit of extra shine, you can always add in your Basu Shine Mist as well to be able to work. So let's get back to my screen here. And there we go. So there's still lots of other additional places you guys can find more information on the blowout system. Go to our Vimeo channel where you'll see Wayne sharing much of our blowout system. Find us on Facebook and social media. There's lots of great ideas and tips and tricks there as well. And you'll be able to learn all you need to learn about blowouts. So I hope I've given you more information today. And make sure that you're following us on our Vimeo channel. There's so much great education there. Cutting, color, finishing, you name it, it's all there for you just to be able right at your fingertips. And we've even created some beautiful plans to be able to train new stylists within your salon and so on. Don't forget to join our Surface Hair website if you haven't already. There you can find all of your monthly game plans, quarterly promotions, goals and planning sheets, as well as all of the certifications there. They're not hands-on, but you'll get a nice certificate that you can post within your salon and then take you to the next step of joining one of our hands-on classes. Our Vimeo channel, again, you can even use that little QR code and just take a picture of it. And now you guys, we have a couple of great classes coming up in the month of February and March. So February 22nd, there are a few spots left for our hands-on virtual Awaken certification. If you would like to join this class, please make sure you register today, because today is the last day to sign up, because we need to make sure that we get mannequins sent out to those who are attending. And then also on March 8th, we'll have our next pop-up shop, and it'll be a color workshop. So I'm excited to share those with you as well. And if you've seen this floating around on Facebook on my page, you can find it. You can register for any of these classes now if you like, but they run throughout the entire year. So we have the complimentary pop-up shops every single month. And then on the bottom row, you're going to see some great workshops for cutting, foiling, color, finishing, and you name it. And don't forget, Global Forum, we are so excited to be able to be live in Vegas in October. So secure your seats now, because they are going to sell out quick, and we would love to be able to see each and every one of you there. So you can do that just by going on our Facebook page and being able to find the link there to register, and hopefully we will see you there. Little things don't mean a lot. They mean absolutely everything. And so I want to leave you with this. Do what you can where you are with what you have. You know, we are in such a strange and unique time right now. And the little things that we do to really help make our guests feel great, taking those little extra steps like clipping your work, showing them an extra technique that they can do at home, really helping them to extend the life of their blowout with the blowout system, and giving them all that they have to help them feel great at home. And of course, for yourself as well, do what you can where you are